Okay, good evening. In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to use the feedback tool or the feedback activity in this software. Now, earlier, the video I made earlier, I taught us how to use the choice activity, which we use for voting. You can ask your students how to what they feel about their learning experience, and you'll be able to know those that are weak and those that are strong. So it's very simple to use. Watch the previous video, you learn how to use that activity. So we have many of them there. You've been able to use the assignment activity. You've been able to also use the forum activity. You also have the chat live chat activity. That's three. And previously I did a video on how to use the choice activity, which is four. And also another activity, which is a multiple choice question, has also taught us how to use the quiz activity. Now this activity called feedback, because most of us will go into add an activity or resources, but we are limited to only one or two. But having to understand all these other activities makes you as an educator to be dynamic and creative in your course. So the sixth activity I will be teaching you is the feedback. It's similar to the choice activity that we did earlier. So watch that video. Now this one is feedback. Now feedback allows you to listen to your learners. It allows you to improve their experience in the course or in their learning, you know. And in listening to them is essential as we as educators, uh, to be able to get what our students, or to understand how our students are coping in the course. Do you understand? So that we could gauge their opinions and improve our own teaching. It's not just about teaching. Ask them, oh, do you understand it, or do you like the course, or what? So from feedback, you'll be able to, get things right. So how do we use that? A student, perhaps maybe asked to give his or her opinion on a course material or an activity that's been given earlier. So if all students reply, some would state their experience as very good, maybe because they are brilliant. Some would be able to state, oh, no, no, I'm not getting it. Then the teacher would know how to, you know, get back to them. So quickly, how do we add, this how do we add this feedback? How do we set it up? So simply, for those that said I've not been starting from the dashboard, this is my dashboard. All I need to do is to go to site home. I click on site home and I move down to the available course. Save yourself this stuff, scroll down to the extreme end where we have search course. So any course you feel like searching, just type the name. So far I've been using sociology, so I'm going to use sociology. Feel free to click on any of this category if your course is, could be found in any of this. So I'm going to click on sociology. I'm going to click on sociology, and I'm going to, you know, get started. Now, quickly, in adding my, this is progress, this is a progress check I did earlier. Now, let's assume in this introductory, this first lesson I have created for my students. In any of this, I want to get their understanding of the course. I want to get a feedback. I'm going to turn on my editing as a teacher. I'm going to turn on my editing as a teacher. So now I have the options to edit. Now some of us have been asking question, how do I delete an activity? When you turn on your edit mode, please, you are going to see edit on all your activities. You are going to see edit on all your activity. Look at this worksheet, there's an edit. I click on it. Now what are these options I have here? I have the edit setting, I have the move right. Now some of us don't even know what this means. Now let's assume this is the first topic, which I've put a presentation here, and the second one is dependent on the first one. What I need to do is this second one would be indented. So this move right is just like indentation. So I'm going to move right. You will notice that these are shifted. Similarly to week one, to this, I'm going to move right. So you can see this one is to the extreme left, and all these ones that are shifted inside, the students would, it will make some sense to the student that these two things are under this. Then anyone that will stand alone might be, oh, another thing I need my students to do, you know. So that's what this move right means. Edit setting, you feel you've not given a time frame for this week one forum, you can edit it. It's different from this general editing. When you use this edits here, it's for the course itself, the container. But for all these activities here individually, you can edit them individually. You can also hide them because teachers are finding it difficult to hide their course. You don't want this course to be available for students yet, so just hide it. They will not see it from their end. You see, it's telling you hidden from students. Okay, so that's how you hide your course. You show it later. Similarly, please, I just want to use this video to tell you all this. Okay, the video is strictly on how to add your how to use the feedback activity. You also have duplicate, you also have delete if you want to delete, and assign role. Maybe this will be later. Now that's that. Please feel free to use your move right. Please always make your course, you know, arrange your course, you know, lay it out in a way that everybody, you know, students would like to, you know, get involved in the course. Do you understand now? Now we can see this one edit button here. This is edit topic. You could edit this topic because this is the topic here, which is introduction to sociology. You could edit it and do whatever you want to do with it. Introduction to sociology. Now quickly back to my course here. Now on this course, quickly, what I need to tell you now, let's assume I need to get feedback from my students. I'm going to click on add an activity or resources. Now so far we've been able to do a video on how to use the assignment activity, the attendance activity. This big blue button, I'm going to do a video on this. It's how to do a live video session with your students. Now there's a chat activity most of us are used. Now the last video I did was how to use the choice activity for voting, and we have this other activity. I'm going to come back to this. We have the voting, we have the external tool activity, we have the feedback activity, we have the forum activity, we have the glossary activity, we have this, we have, look at how many they are. So what I'm going to use here is the feedback activity. So go through this and understand what this feedback activity is going to do. But I'm just going to, you know, click on it quickly. I'm going to add the feedback activity. Like I told you, don't forget, I say feedback allows you to listen to your learners and then improve your course experience. So we are setting things up quickly. What's going to be the name of the activity? Perhaps I say, oh, your views on this course. Okay, oh sorry, your views on this course. Now what's going to be the description? Okay, you could say help us to improve the course for future participants. Okay, then that's that. Now you always display it on their course page. Now availability, I don't need to tell you this, it's on, you've been using this a lot. You allow them to answer this from which date to which date, so you close it. Okay, now this is the most important part, the question and submission setting. Now when they submit, do you want to record their username? No, you want it anonymous, so students won't see, oh, what did this one choose, what did this one choose. Do you want to allow multiple submission? Okay, you may want to allow that. So take note, I've told you in the last video, when you see this question mark in any of these things you don't understand, take your time and read this. Okay, it's friendly. Now allow multiple submission. You could say, okay, you want a student to come back and change their, you know, their response, you know, so you leave it. Now enable notification after submission. Yes, you want to click on yes. Would you want to enable multiple submission? You say no. Now auto number question, you want it, feel free to use it. Now on the after submission, show analysis page. Okay, you go show analysis page. Now, what is the message? When anybody completes this feedback, what do you want to be written to them? And say, okay, thanks for helping us improve improve thanks for helping us improve the course. So be creative, please. The course. Okay. Now, having done that, you have your, you don't need that, you have your activity completion. Important. I don't skip this whenever I'm adding any course, please. I don't know, for you as a teacher, maybe you skip this, but I don't do that. I want to have control, so I set it with condition. Student must view this activity, yes. Student must also view as completed if the feedback is submitted. So I think I need those two enabled. Then I click on save and display. Now this is just the first part. You've not done anything. You've only created the container, so to speak, just like when you are creating your course. That's just the cover. You need to come inside and start creating your lessons. So in this case now, after creating the feedback content or container, how do you want to add your question? What question do you want to ask them now? It's just like when you're adding your quiz. You know how you add your quiz. So I'm going to click on edit question now. So please edit question. Now I'm going to add the first question now. So what type of question do you want to ask? So once you click on edit question, it brings you to add question. So you can choose from the list here. Do you want to add multiple choice? You want to add the numeric answer, short text answer, long text answer, things like that. So the first thing I'm going to use is the multiple choice question. So when you click on it, it's going to load. So I'm waiting for it to load. So if you want it required that they must answer it, you make sure it's required. Then what's the question? So the question I'm going to ask first is, how do you rate this course? Okay, it's a question. How do you rate this course? Are you with me now? Now you may decide to, this label, I'm going to tell you what it is. You could decide to give a label. Now this label will be useful if you want this question, another question, to be dependent on this. So I'm going to teach you that later. So you might leave this label option blank. Now multiple choice type, is this single answer, or you want them to be able to choose more than one answer? So I'm going to leave it on single answer. Now I've told you about this in when I made the choice activity. You could make it vertical. The questions will be highlighted, the options will be highlighted vertical. So I'm going to leave that. Now this, take note of this, hide the not selected option. So if this not selected is not hidden, it's going to appear when the students are picking their choice. Okay, so I'm going to choose yes. So if I choose hide it, the system is not going to show this option for them. It's only going to show the options I'm going to type in this box. Are you with me now? So what are the options I'm typing in this box? Now what are the options I want to use? Okay, outstanding. Now you press enter. Take notes to put your options. You're going to put it in vertical form. Okay, you're going to make it in vertical form. So I have my good, I have the third one as a satisfactory, and I have the last one as poor. Okay, now this is the question. Now that you're done with that, what you need to do, check around if you've added every necessary thing, and you click on save question. Now I've added the first question. Don't forget, this feedback is not only asking them one question. I want to ask them, like, let's say 3 questions. Okay, so this is the first question. How do you rate this course? So the student is going to pick any of this, and you get a feedback as a teacher. Now you have added that question. I'm going to add another question again. Now this second question is going to be a short text question. So I'm going to choose the short text answer. Okay. Edit question. So that question is there. Okay, I want to add another question. I'm going to click on short text answer. Now this also required. Now what's the question going to be? This is a question I want them to answer. So I'm going to say in one word, for instance, in one word, how would you describe the cost to other students? Okay, now this is a short one I want them to answer. Are you with me now? Now we are going to make this question. We're going to make the next question I'm going to put now. Okay, we are going to make that dependent. So I told you about this label, so don't worry about the label when you are filling anything. But in this case now, you could set the width of your text field where the students will enter their answer. You could set the width, you could set this, but there's no problem, you could just leave it. Now I'm going to click on save. So what's the question again? In one word, how would you describe this? And I click on save question. That's question 2. I've added 2 questions. Now look at the 2 questions so far. Number 1, how do you rate this course? Number 2, in one word, how would you describe this course to other students? Now the third question I'm going to add now, take note, the third question I'm going to add is going to be dependent on the fourth question will be dependent on the third question. So this third question will be multiple choice. Let's add another multiple choice now. Okay, I'm also going to make it required. What's the question? Did you, let me ask this question, did you, well, let me say, have you, okay, no, maybe why the students are doing it, because some are using the web, going through this web, some are using our application. We have application that you could use for this same course. So let's say I'm asking, did you use the Grenville app? Okay, and this is a question I want them to answer. So because the next question I'm going to ask them will be dependent on this, meaning once the student choose any option like yes, it's going to lead them to another place because they chose yes. But if they say no, the question will stop there. Do you understand? It's just like a link to another end. So because I know this question would have a link, so I'm going to give it a label, because this is the label I'm going to use to find this particular question, number 3 question. So I'm going to call the label Grenville. I can call it anything that you could see when you are choosing. So Grenville app. Do you understand? Now multiple and single answer yes. Then you hide not. Okay, you could leave that. Now what's the option here? The option is going to be yes. The option is going to be yes, and another option will be no. So these are the 2 things they are going to choose from, yes and no. Now once I'm done with this, do you understand? I'm going to click on save. Take note, what else again do I need? I'm going to click on save. Now before you add the question that will be dependent on this third question, take note, this is question 1, this is question 2, and this is question 3. Did you use the Grenville app? And I gave this a label, but I didn't give this other ones a label. Now before I add the 4th question, it is important I add what we call the page break. If you don't add this, it's not going to work. So I'm going to add this page break before adding the 4th question. So I've added a page break, and this is the page break. You could delete it, don't worry. Now with this page break in place, I can now go ahead and add the 4th question. Now why am I adding this 4th question? Because it's dependent on the other one. Now like I told you, the 3rd question was asking if the student used an app. So if any student chose yes, this is the next question that would come to them. This question I'm about to write now is the question that would appear to those students that chose yes in the 3rd question. But for those students that said no, they did not use the Grenville app, there's no point asking them any question further because they are choosing no. Okay, so this next question is going to be multiple choice, and the question is, how did you find that app? You said you've used the app, right? So the question is, how did you find the Grenville app? Are you with me now? Now you don't need label here. This is not depending on anything. Now I'm going to choose multiple choice. Yes. Now what are the choices? I'm going to have outstanding again, like students app is outstanding. We enter. You have good. Then you have the third option that says satisfactory, and you have the fourth option that says poor. Are you with me now? Now this is where the game is gonna change, because I've said I've added a page break. The system knows now that I want to use the previous option as a dependence, okay, or as a dependence. Yeah, so I'm going to choose dependence item, and here I'm going to choose the Grenville app. So I'm meaning anybody that says yes in the Grenville app. Now what's the dependence value? Yes, very important. So I'm going to type yes, because when any of those two options, in the previous question I used yes or no. Have you used the Grenville app? So whoever would choose yes, the computer will use this yes to bring this person to this next question. Do you understand? And I can finally click on save question. Are you with me now? Now with this, I'm good to go. I'm done. So that's that. This is what you just need to do to add your questions for the feedback. You'll notice this is in gray because this is the dependence, question, or this is the dependency. Now, what other options can you see here as a teacher? You have your template. You could save these questions as a new template to be used. Okay, you could save it. You could save it, delete template. We'll save it as Grenville feedback, for instance. Okay, public. Let me just make it public. Save as new template. Okay, so I have a template I can use whenever I want to use. So back to my questions. I have my questions. I could edit them if there's any mistake. Now analysis, you want to analyze. You have 4 questions there. Nobody has submitted. Then I have my show responses. Nobody has submitted. So let me go back to this student here that I have, Michael Damilola. Refresh his page and let him quickly do that feedback quickly. I'm ending the video now. So on this same course, the student clicks on sociology, and one of the course he has there, take note of what I did earlier. This is the indentation I did by using the move right. You can see they are not on the same line, so please do your indentation. Now the feedback, your views on this course help us improve this course for future participants. I click on it. Now clicking on this, the student has to answer the questions. The student clicks on this and is given the first question. How do you rate this course? Oh, outstanding. In one word, how would you describe this course to other students? Please do take this course. I love it. Okay. Did you use the Grenville app? Yes. Take note, we don't have a fourth question here, but if the student should click next page, because the student chose yes, the next question will come and say, how did you find the app? Well, not selected because I left that option. This was what I was telling you, for that not selected. So I'm going to say, well, it was outstanding. And I click on submit your answers. Now the student has finally submitted, and he could see submitted answers, by seeing what other people have actually submitted. He could see is the only one for now that's put this outstanding, and chosen yes if you use the app. So from the teacher's end, if I should refresh this page for the teacher would see responses. Show response. Response 1, outstanding. Please do take this course. Did you use the Grenville app? Yes. So as other students keep bringing their comment, teachers are seeing them here. Teachers are seeing it. On the analysis, you have your graph where you can see those that chose what and what. Okay, so that's how to use the feedback option, the feedback activity. So I'm going to end this video because of the length, and I hope you do enjoy this. Thank you.